women nationally experience symptoms of postpartum depression according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. But depending on where you live, that number can rise to 1 in 5. But although common, the negative stigma around the mental health diagnosis often leaves many people silent on the issue. But an organization is working to change that, folks, right here in our community. I'm Caroline Blair here with Amy Russo, the organizer of a local Climb Out of the Darkness hike that is taking place in our state this weekend. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Caroline.
This postpartum, this is something that affects women, men, and it's something that has been around. We've known it's been around for forever, but something we still don't tend to talk about.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because when we're physically sick, like if we don't feel well or we feel cold symptoms coming on or the flu coming on, we go to the doctor and we seek help.
Yeah.
But there's still stigma in our country about when you don't feel well mentally, it can be shameful, it can be embarrassing, and people have a hard time admitting that they may need help. They may think it's like just a funk for a day, and that funk may last for days, weeks, months.
What are some of the symptoms that we're talking about here?
So in perinatal mood disorders, it's things like sadness, crying, feeling anxious, feeling nervous, feeling rage, any combination of those components. The best way to think about it is when you just don't feel like yourself.
Yeah. And this can happen, we've learned, men and women. It can happen during pregnancy, after pregnancy, long after that. And so that's why having that recognition and that support system and talking about it and breaking the stigma is so important. And that is what you're doing through this Climb Out of the Darkness hike. Tell us a little bit about that.
So this is our second annual Climb Out of the Darkness. And Climb Out of the Darkness is held nationwide on the longest sunlight weekend of the year. And the concept is to bring awareness to perinatal mood disorders. As you mentioned, it can affect moms and dads. So it is a family-friendly hike that is a walk of hope. It's a walk of community. It's a walk of togetherness. People can walk in chatter or they can walk in peacefulness. It's really up to them. It's just about coming together as a community and acknowledging, hey, parenthood is tough. And if you are struggling emotionally or mentally, there is help and you're not alone and it's not your fault and you can and will feel better with the right help.
How can we get involved?
So there's a few different ways. Of course, coming to the hike.
Right.
It's such a lovely morning. We start at 9, we're done by 10. We have fun for the kids with music and bubbles. And then we have the Women's Birth and Wellness Center on site along with UNC Center for Mood Disorders. So coming to the hike obviously is a great way to get involved, but Postpartum Support International is the cause that we are working to help.
Okay.
Postpartum Support International exists all over the country, and people are more than welcome to make donations to Postpartum Support North Carolina. And this is an organization that is really unique in that it is free to families.
Wow.
And they train their providers. They have in-group support and also remote support. And they have services in English and in Spanish. And so it gives services to perhaps those, based on where they live in the state, don't have the resources that we might have.
Underserved. Okay, thank you so much for coming and providing that information, setting up this wonderful event. If you would like to help climb out of the darkness, the event is taking place Sunday, Briar Chapel Clubhouse at 9 o'clock. We've got registration and information on our website, SpectrumLocalNews.com.